Early voting starts Monday, and you might need to take an umbrella. We'll have details. Plus, it's week 9 of the Texas high school football season, so the Cover1 crew is here in studio to get you ready for all the big games. Stay tuned. I'm Yantis Green, and this is Live. Before we get to the news, Davis Woodfin, financial advisor with Edward Jones, wants to congratulate all of tonight's stars on the football field. You can contact him with your questions about this crazy economy we're living in right now, and he may have some answers for you. Davis is making sense out of investing at Edward Jones. He's located at 4102 South Jackson or at 325-249-0082. That's Davis Woodfin at Edward Jones, 4102 South Jackson, or at 325-249-0082. In news, early voting in San Angelo and the entire state of Texas begins on Monday. This year, the races statewide have been interesting. Governor Abbott versus Beto O'Rourke, Patrick versus Collier. Who will win? Well, according to a poll out today by the University of Texas, it's looking like once again Texas will stay red and the Republican elected officials will be elected again. If this poll is correct, Beto O'Rourke will lose his third election, this time by double digits. As for Collier, he's down bad as well. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is leading in the polls by 15 points, a hefty margin this late in the game. If you want to help secure Texas, go ahead and get down to the 4 early voting locations starting on Monday. Polls are open Monday through Friday for the next 2 weeks, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more details, specifically about the hours especially, check out the complete story on sanangelolive.com. Starting things off, Goodfellow Air Force Base's former Assistant Chief of Fire Prevention, Billy Clements, has been hired as the City of San Angelo's newest fire marshal. While at Goodfellow, Clements was responsible for fire investigations and fire code enforcement, as well as fire and life safety prevention, plan reviews, and educational activities at the base. Clements worked in that position since 2009. Clements has 31 years of service that began in 1991 as a firefighter for the United States Air Force. Fire Chief Patrick Brody said of the hiring, "We are very excited to have Chief Clements on our team. He is a huge asset to the organization, and we look forward to what the future has to hold." In other local news, a major road in San Angelo will be down to 2 lanes next week for some much-needed improvements. The City of San Angelo has released information that says on October 25th, 26th, and 26th, the 2700 and 2800 blocks of Southwest Boulevard will be closed down to only 1 lane in each direction for work on that low water crossing there. That section of roadway is between Hobby Lobby and Tractor Supply and that shopping center, and then the Valvoline Oil Change location across Southwest Boulevard. If possible, the city is asking motorists to avoid that area while the work is being done those 2 days next week. And tonight, the Friday night lights will be upon us once again across the Concho Valley. While there are no games in San Angelo Stadium tonight, there's still plenty of action across the area. Expect temperatures around kickoff to be in the 70s. The sun is expected to set around 7 o'clock tonight. As for the next 7 days, it looks like we'll be getting some more of that much-needed rain. Showers are expected to begin late Sunday night and move on into Monday. As for temperatures for the next week, they will remain cool. Things may cool off down Monday and Tuesday. Lows for those days will be in the 50s when the sun goes down. But when it does come out, however, it will warm up into the mid to upper 80s in the afternoons. And it's week 9 of Texas high school football, and tonight there are a lot of games. We will go straight into that with our Cover1 team and James Bellini. But first, here's a message from Team Investments.
I've always known that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to help students maximize their potential. It's something that I'm good at. But planning for my financial freedom That's something I leave for a professional. That's why I chose to team up with the advisors at Tiemann Investments. They not only understand me and my goals, but they understand the market, what's important now and in the future. They provided world-class advice right where I am, here in West Texas. Connect with Tiemann Investments to visualize your financial dreams.
Visualizing your financial dreams is something that they do at Tiemann Investments. Here at Cover1, we're trying to visualize our championship dreams, and the only way we can do that is by giving you the best football we can and the best analysis. Speaking of analysis, here's our co-host here, James Bellini. James, what's up?
What's going on, Matt? Not much, man. Week 9, and we got some good games up this week. Maybe some playoff spots up for grabs, and maybe some district champions might be.
We may see some crazy stuff. Before we get into anything, James, I want to go ahead. We've been giving you guys picks for a number of weeks now, and it is finally time to. Let's see if it's in here. No, it is not. Okay, well, here in a little bit, I will pull up. I have our pick standings, James. Right now, you're in first, and I'm tied for last. But good news is nobody has a losing record here on Cover1. We are all at least 500 or better, so we at least kind of know what we're talking about, James. When you're making your picks every week, what's something that just you can give advice to people out there when they're making their own at home?
I mean, I go out to schools and talk to coaches, but you can go to Max Preps, look at stats. That kind of helps influence some of my picks. Obviously, I'm number 1 right now, so yeah, look at stats. Obviously, that doesn't give you the whole spiel for the game, but it does help. It does help.
All right, well, I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. Yeah, go ahead and hop over there, Chadwick. You're good. But let's go ahead and get into the games. We want to start with one that people are going to want to see, and that is the let's see. Man, my thing is all mixed up today. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Here it is. The Lakeview Chiefs taking on the Big Spring Steers. It's going to be a good one. A lot of playoff implications on the line. Probably loser goes home. Winners can stay alive for that fight in the playoffs. The Lakeview Chiefs have been playing good all year. Probably better than they have for some of the years in the past. James, when we're talking about this game, what are you thinking?
I think this is a very winnable game for both teams, for either Big Spring or Lakeview. Obviously, Lakeview lost last week. Kind of a rough loss to Brownwood, but now they're going out to play Big Spring, and I think this is this is a winnable game. They've got their running back, Ricky Mears back. He came back. They have a good 1-2 punch with him and Ian Cortez. Medley can get it done at quarterback. He's got receivers, Devastian Manley, Derek Taylor, Adam Robles, and they picked on that right side last week against Brownwood. So they did some good things last week, but hopefully, they're going into this. This is a playoff spot. They're not guaranteed the playoffs this year, and if they lose this one, they'll be coming home. They'll be starting basketball sooner than later.
Definitely, it's going to be a interesting game for the Chiefs. I want to bring in our third counterpart here, Ryan Chadwick. How are you doing today? Not at the game yet, but getting ready for it, huh?
Oh, yeah. I was actually excited that I actually get to be on the show, So
There we go. Hey, I'm in. So right now we're talking about Lakeview, Big Spring. James kind of touched on it a little bit. It could mean, like James said, basketball season early for the Chiefs. They got to win tonight if they want to get in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on this game so far, Chadwick?
I think it's a winnable game for Lakeview. Like, Big Spring hasn't shown anything that's too, overwhelming for the Chiefs to be able to deal with. Like, they just need to stick to their strengths, They need to run the ball hard. They need to control the clock, and they need to limit their turnovers because, like, whenever they fall behind fast, like, it's turnovers that do it to them. So they take care of the ball, they got a chance.
Well, last week, the Chiefs had a really, really tough game. I think James said it best. They got shredded down by the Brownwood Lions. Final score was like 60 to something, very small. But it's a new week. We got to forget about it. We got to move on. But James, there had to be some good that you saw in that Brownwood game. What was something good that you can say that you saw for the Chiefs that maybe they will bring into this week?
They were able to run the ball pretty well. I mean, they had like 130 yards rushing, and they had a big 60-yard run from Ricky Ramirez. He can run the ball. He's back. They did pick on that right side, that right corner. Medley was throwing to Robles on that sideline 2 or 3 times for decent gains. But like Chadwick said, they turned it over early in the game, and that just helped Brownwood build that lead. And then they were driving, and they turned it over in the red zone. They were almost in the end zone at that point. Medley scrambled out to his right and just fumbled the ball. And Brownwood recovered it. You limit turnovers, run the ball, good things will happen. But
we guess we're going to see, but the main thing is, I guess you can't turn the ball over. All right, moving on to our picks for this game. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. Guys, looks like y'all two are on the same page, but me, I got to root for our Lakeview Chiefs. Man, the Chiefs have played a really good season, probably one of the best seasons they've had in forever, and for them not to make the playoffs would be a shame. So I'm going to go ahead and rock with the Lakeview Chiefs. I think this may be their only win that they're going to get in the district season, but with that being said, it's going to mean a lot for them to get the win. Going to you, Chadwick, why did you go with the big? I mean, come on, you're an SAISD guy. Well, why did you go with the Steers in this one?
Well, I said that Big Spring hasn't shown anything like overwhelming. In the game that they played against Andrews, they do have big play capability, and that's been one of the things that has hamstrung the Chiefs all season is allowing big plays. And I'm not too proud to say over here that it's one of the Central Bobcats' biggest problems too. So seems like San Angelo teams kind of share that weakness there. But I just went with the Steers just because overall I think that Big Spring has a more talented squad than the Chiefs. But like I said, it was a toss-up for me. I could definitely see the Chiefs winning this game, but I went with Big Spring.
All right, James, what about you?
Kind of the same thing. I don't think they can limit turnover. And they had dumb things happen last week. They had a snap that hit the up man on a punt. Just weird things happen. It just seems like it's always stacked against the Chiefs. If they can overcome that, great. I want to be wrong here. I'd like to see Lakeview win this game. But I just think we did see the Big Spring against Andrews, and I think Big Spring's going to pull this one out at the end.
All right, these are our picks brought to you by Team Investments. They're a proud sponsor of Cover1. Team Investments, 325-227-6729, or see them online, teaminvestments.com. Last chance to get a look at this one, and we're going to be moving on from this game. But before we move on, I want to let you guys know that right now is the Ram Power Days. Look at this sexy truck right here. It's a 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4. You can get this for 2.9% APR financing for 72 months. Plus, Texas residents get $1,500 in State Fair of Texas bonus cash allowance, plus another $1,000 bonus cash allowance when you finance through Chrysler Capital. But you got to hurry. This spooky deal is going to end on Halloween. That's right. The offer ends October 31st. Go see the guys at the Autoplex at 4310 Sherwood Way. That's Sherwood at Southwest, or at 325-284-3032. Moving on to our next game here, guys. It is going to be a good one. We're going to stay right here in the Concho Valley for this one, and it is going to be the Water Valley Wildcats taking on the Sterling City Eagles. It's going to be a good one. Same district matchup right here. These guys are no strangers to each other. They both started last year. They were both 6-man teams. Now they moved up. Same district, 11-man. Guys, we'll start with you, James. What are we thinking in this game? Because these guys know each other very well. Is it going to be a blowout? We think it's going to be close. What are we thinking?
I think Sterling City is going to pull this one out at the end, but I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think Water Valley's going to do some good things. It's just at Sterling City they have a good a great coach who's been there for a long time. He was hired 11-man, learned 6-man on the fly, and took him. I mean, they're only 2 years removed from a state appearance in 6-man level.
Right.
And they even went pretty deep last year towards state in the playoffs. And Water Valley, they have a new head coach, and they kind of have some learning to get through. They're 2-6 this year. I do think Water Valley is going to be a good game, but I think Sterling City's going to pull this one out at the end.
You know, one of the things I found interesting was if you kind of look at the common opponents, you know, they've kind of played almost the same schedule. Sterling City may have a better record, but to me, it seems like they're almost playing as even amount of football as you can because it's hard to move up, and both of these teams have fared pretty decently, I guess, in the 11-man ranks. Chadwick, when you saw this game on paper, what were you kind of thinking in your head? I guess don't reveal your pick, but kind of give me what you were thinking about when you were making your pick.
I think that both these teams are in similar situations. On paper, they pretty much look identical. This should be a good game, but I think just with the coaching experience and just the athletes that Sterling City has, I think they have the edge. But as far as Water Valley goes, like they've played some good teams too, and they've played them tough. So
it is the Battle of Highway 87 right there. If you go out to Sterling City, you're going to go through Water Valley first. So these guys not only know each other because they're all from the same kind of town, but really and truly they know each other because half of them can throw a rock and hit the other person's house. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team steps up and makes it happen. Here we go. We're going to reveal our picks now, and I was the lone soul in this one. I decided to rock with the Water Valley Wildcats in this one, only because they're playing at home, kind of just a letdown spot for Sterling City. Everyone's, overthinking them, overlooking them, but I think Water Valley is going to put it up. It's going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a one-score game or at least a one-touchdown game. By the end of it, I don't know. Chadwick, what are you thinking? You made the pick. You made the Sterling City Eagles. What are you thinking?
Just kind of what I said earlier, just with the experience at the head coaching, spot. He's been there a while. He's built up a program. The caliber of athletes that Sterling City can put forth, like some of these guys were still on that state championship team, So, like, we all know that they can play ball. So that's why I was like, I'm going to give it to Sterling City.
All right, there you go. And James, you're the number one pickster so far for us this year. So whatever you say usually works. So why'd you rock with the Eagles instead of the Wildcats?
I've talked to Coach Cisco a couple times over the past couple months, and he's real proud of his guys. He has really good athletes. Like Chadwick said, they got Tristan Himes there at fullback, and I think linebacker, and Johnny Monreal's out there making plays. I just think that they have more power at just certain positions to put them in the lead here. I think they're going to win by a couple touchdowns. I think they'll put Water Valley away pretty handily.
All right, there you go. There's our picks. Remember, guys, this is brought to you by Team Investments. Go see them online at teaminvestments.com. Moving into our next game, but before we do, I want to tell you guys about our friends over there at Angelo Bolt. If you're like me, you got a honey-do list. The size of them, miles long, right? You got to do everything around the house, fix this, fix that. And the only place I go to get everything I need, whether it be screws or nuts or fasteners, or heck, even you get some power tools. They sell plenty of those, like Milwaukee and DeWalt. Those are the guys over there at Angelo Bolt. Go see them at 808 Warehouse Drive. That's Angelo Bolt at 808 Warehouse Drive. Also, don't forget that this backdrop right here, it's, the Tramble Desk, sponsored by Angelo Bolt, so shout out to those guys. Moving on to our next game, it is going to be another one that's going to be close to us. It is El Dorado taking on the Ira and Braves. The Eagles versus the Braves. It's going to be a good one. El Dorado looking to get back on track, get another win for their district season, and hopefully pull out a playoff spot. On the other hand, Ira Ann has also been playing good football all year long. James, we'll start with you. What is your headspace so far moving into this matchup?
Now, these are both young teams. They have a freshman standout there. His name's Prather Schneeman at Iran.
What a name!
Yeah, what a name. He's been all over the place for him. But El Dorado, they have that consistency on defense. They have those good coaches. I went out there and spoke with just the coaching staff in general, and their head coach Chad Tuttle. He said it's just about having guys out here who want to be at El Dorado. Those coaches want to be there. They have good defensive guys. They got Sam Griffin and Tony Kamiak out there who are just all over the place for the Eagles. They're going to be really good. But I think Iran also has a good young team. So this is going to be a good one.
I think it is too. I think it's going to be. I don't know. This is more of I'm thinking more of a blowout than the other couple games that we've talked about so far. But you never know because IRN could travel pretty good. Either way, we're going to have highlights on the show. Chadwick, moving into the El Dorado Eagles versus the IRN Braves. What are you thinking about these two teams?
I'm kind of the same mind as you. I think this is one of the more lopsided games of the slate of picks that we got here. I think that El Dorado is playing good football. As James said, they play good defense, and of course that offense can be super explosive. So, yeah.
Well, I think that we were all on the same page on this one. In the picks, we'll show it. There's only one person who did not pick the El Dorado Eagles, and that's Isaiah Garza. Now, mind you, Isaiah is our Permian Basin correspondent, so of course he's got to rock with the boys close with him. But other than that, across the board, Jake, Joe, Ryan, Trammell, James, Yantis, and Ernesto think the El Dorado Eagles are going to win this one. James, go into a little bit more detail on your pick there.
El Dorado, obviously, they're really good. They're a really good school. They're a really good team. They have coaches who want to be out there, and looking at them offensively, they can move the ball very well. They have Paul Luna back there at running back who can move the ball, and defense, they just play really good defense. Chad Tuttle's really high on Tony Kamiak. He's only a junior this year. He plays outside linebacker. He's all over the place for him. And Sam Griffin, of course, is just the stone wall out there. They have a good line. Even on offense, they're opening up holes on offense. So they're just a good team. And I think that they're going to be handling the Braves pretty well there in El Dorado tonight.
The past couple games that we've saw, I guess the highlights that we've had on the show, it's a very different kind of El Dorado team than we saw at the beginning of the year. We saw this team grow. We saw this team learn how to execute that offense. We think about, very first week one, it's 7-0 against Cristobal. I don't think that El Dorado is going to ever go up and put 7-0 against any team this season again. I think, this team has figured out how to move the offense. They've decided on who to go with, and I think it's really going to show. Chadwick, moving to your pick, you picked El Dorado. Just kind of give me in 30 seconds why you chose the Eagles in this one tonight.
Well, I think it's important to note that because of the coaching situation down there, that we didn't really know how the El Dorado Eagles were gonna be this year. So that 7-0 score against Cristobal in week one didn't really surprise me. But since then, like you said, Trammell, they figured out the offense. They know how to move the ball, and it's not every year that you see these small schools be able to sling it around like El Dorado can. They also got, as James said, a pretty talented running back. But most importantly, teams that they play don't score on them. So
right.
if they just keep doing what they're doing, I can see them winning by 3 or 4 touchdowns tonight.
I sure hope so. Of course, got to rock with those guys over there because they always, show me love. So hope the El Dorado Eagles win tonight. We will have all the highlights on our show tonight. So make sure you're there for that.
They haven't.
Go for it.
I was just saying they haven't scored a ton of points there in El Dorado. They've been able to move the ball, but they've also played some really, really good teams. They've played San Saba, Wink.
That Wink team. That Wink team was that team is going to go 2 or 3 rounds deep.
Yeah, they're ranked number 4 in the state right now, and they had a forfeit game against Midland TLCA. So when you look at their points, it doesn't look all that impressive. But when you actually look at their schedule,
but when you watch them play,
right.
and you watch the highlights, and when we show you those highlights, they learned how to move the ball. You talked about making holes in that offensive line play. I think that has been the biggest change for the Eagles so far.
One thing though. Jason Corvarubius did not play against Wink. Omar Baraja stepped up in that quarterback spot. They had a week off. I went to Sonora last night, and El Dorado's, I think, junior high was playing in Sonora. Didn't get to talk to Chad Tull before he left. I would have asked him about that. So that's something to watch in the game tonight.
Yep, be on the lookout, and we will have highlights and scores and analysis and some coaches' interviews from that game. So be on the lookout for that. Also, Double Dave's Pizza of the Month for October is the Slow Burn. That's right, this thing will light you up, but slowly. Hand-tossed original crust, red sauce, ricotta, fresh mozzarella, pepperoni, diced jalapenos, and if you haven't tried this stuff right here, guys, if y'all had Mike's Hot Honey, that stuff, you put it on anything, and that stuff's good. It's for $12 for a medium, and you can get it for all month long. go to doubledaves.com, or you can see them in the Southwest Plaza. That's at the corner of Knickerbocker and Sunset. All right, moving to our next game. We're going to go to the Little Southwest Conference. I know what you're thinking of about time they talk about Central. Well, we're not going to get there quite yet. There's another game in the Little Southwest Conference that we're going to get to first, and that is the Friendship Tigers taking on the Permian Panthers. Last week we saw Permian drop their first game of the season to Midland Legacy, but 2 weeks ago we saw Friendship take on Midland Legacy and beat them. The Little Southwest Conference right now is wide open. Friendship's undefeated, Central's undefeated, Midland Legacy's got 1 loss, Odessa Permian has 1 loss. James, we'll start with you. What are we thinking about Friendship Tigers versus the Odessa Permian Panthers?
This has potential here, this game. You have a high-powered offense of Friendship. That quarterback lit up Legacy for like 400 yards.
He had like 400 yards in the first half.
Yeah, no, he went crazy on it. Just throwing the ball. I think is it his cousin Landon Hutchinson? Is that his cousin?
Yes.
I think. Yeah, his cousin has like 600 yards, and Tate Beals has 400 yards. I mean, just insane numbers from their receivers out there against a very good Permian defense. They always play good defense there, and they just have it. It's stacked. It's going to be a great one in the Little Southwest Conference. It's
exciting, and Chadwick, you're from San Angelo. You moved and you went and played a little football down in a little place called Lubbock, and right outside of Lubbock is another little place. Not really so little now, and it's not really so much outside of Lubbock now, but Wolfforth, and that's Friendship. So you kind of know these guys a little bit. You've seen the Little Southwest Conference forever. What are we thinking, the Friendship Tigers and the Odessa Permian Panthers?
I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't even know who I want to win this game. Like, I'm doing all the mental calculations saying, okay, well, Permian is really good, so I don't really want them in the playoff picture, but Friendship needs a loss. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Friendship proved against Legacy that they can play against anyone, so it's on paper it looks to be a great game. The Panthers should have beat the Rebels last week as well, but they had what was it, 5 or 6 turnovers like total, like
right.
It was not a very like Permian game,
right?
You're seeing them run the ball like they do, and
they were chunking up picks all over the place, so like you see them get a little down, and they had to start throwing the ball, and that is not their recipe, So, hindsight, coaches might have wanted to, just stick to their run game a little bit longer than they did. But it is what it is in the past now. But like with that being said, Friendship did put up a lot of points against the Rebels when they were at home. But tonight, I mean, Mojo's got a chance here to like score some points, right? In that first half. Friendship did put up all those big numbers against Midland Legacy, but in the second half, Midland Legacy came roaring right back, and the game ended up being pretty close, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Permian is one of those teams that plays great defense, and when they're playing great defense, they can get their running game going, and if the running game's going, they control the clock, they tire out the other team's defense, and keep their defense on the sidelines so they can be explosive all night.
Well, what really, I think really is kind of... and it's just typical. It's so typical, right? Everybody's going to end the season with 1 loss, right? I mean, if Odessa Permian wins against Friendship, wins out. Midland Legacy wins out. Friendship wins out. San Angelo, that would make them, of course, have to drop one of those games. We're talking about a 4-way tie for the top spot in the Little Southwest Conference, and then what do? Then it goes down to points or coin flips. I mean, it's a lots at stake tonight down there in Friendship, and it could mean a little bit of chaos down there for whoever's going to win the district championship. Okay, pulling up our picks for this one, and it is going to be, let's see, there it is. Boom. Everyone in the world, except for me, again, decided to rock with the Friendship Tigers over the Permian Panthers. Guys, I want to say when Friendship beat Legacy, I was the only one to choose them as well. So I am not sweating this one whatsoever. Chadwick, we'll bounce right back to you. Why did you make the pick for the Panthers?
I made the pick for the Panthers just because they have shown to be the most dominant team in this district so far this year. They dropped the game against Middle Legacy, of course, but before that, they were just running over people,
Over really good teams,
yeah,
too.
and they weren't slouches either. Their strength of schedule is strong, and we've seen what happens to some of these high-powered spread offenses that, like, when things don't go so good in the beginning, they fall behind, and it's hard to keep a defense well-rested against Permian's offense, right? They run the triple option really well. I'd say they run it even better than Wall does, and that's saying something, So if Permian takes care of the ball much better than they did last week, then I don't think they're going to have any problems putting Friendship away. Like, this could be a close game. Shoot, I could be wrong, and Friendship could blow them out just like they did the Rebels. Then I'll be the first one to be like, okay, I missed that one, But just from my own personal experience playing Mojo, this is still the exact same team. They run the exact same offense. They're good at what they do. I see Mojo winning tonight.
All right, and remember, they had that game against Tascosa, and I think that's kind of what you were kind of aiming at right there with that last point, But still, you can never, ever, I'm telling you guys, don't count out the Friendship Tigers. James, what are you thinking?
Obviously, I'm thinking Permian's going to pull this out. I think I'm always going to go defense over offense here. I think Permian has a good defense. I think they can keep up with Friendship. I think Permian's going to try. I think they're going to be a little pissed off. They lost that game last week. I think they're going to come into this one and try to just control this one. I think they're going to corral Hud Hutchinson, and I think I'd like to see Friendship, though, make it a game. Let's make this a game. Friendship, come out and try to do what you did against Legacy. Permian, try to not let that happen. When Permian try to do what you always do against Friendship and run the ball. This is going to be a good one, though. I think it's going to be good. Maybe a touchdown. Maybe I'll give him a touchdown. 10 points. Game? I'll say that. All
right, there you go. There's our picks from this game. I want to remind you guys that these picks are brought to you by Team and Investments. Give them a call, 325-227-6729, or see them online, teamandinvestments.com. Before we move on to our next game, I want to give out one more shout-out to the guys over there at the Autoplex. You got a family? This is the perfect car for you, the 2022 Dodge Durango GT Plus. This is the real brotherhood of muscle right here. If you're a Texas resident, you get $1,500 cash allowance plus $750 bonus cash allowance when you finance through Chrysler Capital. But you better hurry, because this deal ends on Halloween. That's right, October 31st. Go down there and see them at 4310 Sherwood Way at Southwest, or give them a call, 325-284-3032. I'm telling you, whether you're trying to get into a new car, maybe get a graduate into a new car, go see the guys at the Autoplex and also at All-American Chevrolet of San Angelo. Guys, finally we have gotten to it. The moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. The San Angelo Central Bobcats are taking on the Legacy Rebels. Guys, this one possibly for... I'm not going to say it. But we could mean a lot to a district championship right here if we knock off the Midland Legacy Rebels. Chadwick, we're going to start with you first. Since you're our Bobcat guy, you're there at every single game. You've had all week to think about this. Tell me, what is going to happen tonight when Central plays Midland Legacy?
I think I might have a heart attack from anxiety, that's for sure. But, man, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bobcats. This is a game that the Bobcats can win if they do a certain specific set of things almost absolutely right here. Okay, so Central's biggest strength is their running game, right? We got to establish the run early. We got to establish the run often. We have to have multiple play, long extended drives so we can control time of possession, right? Midland Legacy is a team that scores on big plays down the field, and that's not something that the Bobcats really combat well against on defense. So, like, the more that our offense is out there and we keep that explosive Rebel offense on the bench, like, the better it is for the Bobcats. Now, defensively, we need a couple stops, right? That's all we need is a couple stops. Every game that the Bobcats have played this year has turned into some sort of a track meet, minus last week where they pulled away and they actually won in a very dominant fashion, congrats to them for that. But, it's a new week. I see this playing out like a couple of the games earlier in the season where it's going to be a score back and forth. You know what I mean? So the Bobcats absolutely cannot turn the ball over tonight. They have not turned the ball over much this season. I think they have 3 or 4 total turnovers, which is amazing, coming in to their 8th game of the season, you know what I mean? But yeah, so as you can tell, I'm already anxious about it. I think the Bobcats just need to play sound football, and they need to take care of the ball, and they just need to control time of possession.
Yeah, I think the turnover thing is going to be the biggest thing there because Midland Legacy last week won the game because of the amount of turnovers that they were able to take away. But at the same time, when we're talking about Midland Legacy's only loss in district, it was against Friendship, and all they did was turn the ball over the whole first half. So at the same time, maybe you can get some turnovers, but you can't turn it over. Either way, I think this game is going to be 70-71. I don't know. What about you, James? What are you thinking for tonight?
Oh, this is going to be the Hail Mary touchdown at the end of, what was it, Wiley? This is going to be a Wiley game all over again. I think, Chadwick, everything has to go right for Central in this one. You can't turn the ball over. You want to use that big Coach Crane talked about it last week, that offensive line. You want to use that offensive line and run the ball, run clock. But you can also score in a hurry. If you need to combat those big plays because you haven't gotten a stop, you can always make those big plays. But it's going to be tough for Central because everything has to go right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and bring in our picks for this one. And it looks like me and Chadwick were on the same page, but unfortunately, James, you went for the evil team over there, the Legacy Rebels, but they're like the Patriot Rebels. I don't even know what they are anymore. Anyways, the Rebels, this is going to be a really close game. We talked about it. It's going to be high score. Maybe it's going to be a dogfight all the way down there. I just think that Central right now is playing so well. We're on our winning streak that we need. Crazy things happen in the Little Southwest Conference. Midland Legacy isn't honestly that good this year. I think if they've had better teams in the past, not saying they're not good, but they have definitely had better teams in the past. I think that this is going to be the chance in the next few years where Central has the ability to beat Midland Legacy. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with them. Chadwick, you're with me, so hey, give me some agreeal.
I'm just going to throw this out there right now. We're going to need to lean on our big players tonight. I'm expecting another big game from Tyler Hill, and as much as we need to establish the run game, I'd like to see our best wide receiver, Jacob English, make a big impact tonight. He's coming off an ankle injury that he suffered earlier in the year, and it kept him sidelined for a couple games, and he's been slowly coming back, and you can see that he's started making more and more of a contribution to this offense. You can't load the box to stop the run if you got a deep threat on the outside, right? So maybe Coach Crane calls a couple plays where English blows the top off the defense and Tyler Hill chunks it deep, right? So I expect a big game out of our biggest offensive contributors. And on the defensive side of the ball, I want to see Darius Floyd continue to do his thing. He's our leading tackler, he has the most sacks. You saw him. We all saw him cause that fumble in the end zone last week against Odessa High, and man, he just ripped that ball out of there, right? So we need our playmakers to continue just to make big plays. But yeah, I expect a big game from Jacob English tonight as well.
Yeah, I hope Tyler Hill can at least get 2 on the ground and 2 on the air, and then we might be sitting pretty good. James, you pick the other side. Tell us why.
Tyler Hill is having a fantastic season this year, but so is Marcus Davila. He is playing out of his mind. You've got Zeke Luna as running back. You've got Madden Malloy and Tommy Johnson III backing him up. At receiver, you've got Deontay Saunier, Aiden Serrano, Breck Stevens, Colin Brazel. I just think there's playmakers across the board who can all take it to the house. And I don't think Central has the ability to stop the big play. I'd love to be wrong here, but I think Legacy's going to pull this one out. I do think it's going to be a track meet. I think Central's going to come out and try to run the ball, try to run the clock, but it's just going to end up turning into we got to score them. And Central can score with anybody. We've seen that. But I think that's what it's going to eventually turn into. Or maybe they'll come in and try to do the friendship thing and throw it deep 5 times in a row for Jacob English, and he'll take 5 touchdowns and who knows?
We can only hope.
It's going to be, we can hope, but it's just going to be a good one tonight. But I do think Legacy's going to pull this one out.
All right, there you go. There's our picks presented by T-Man Investments. Go see those guys today. Oh, put it on you. I meant to put it on me. I'm sorry.
I'm glad I wasn't doing something embarrassing over here.
Hey, anyways, so this is the Cover One pregame show. We're going to have it every Friday at 4 o'clock. Check out our halftime show at 8 o'clock and our postgame show at 10 o'clock. Before we go, though, James, any other games you want to get to before we go?
Oh, I wrote down a whole bunch of them, yeah. Wall's playing San Angelo TLCA in San Angelo. Cristoval's playing Forsan in Forsan. That's going to be good. I went out to Cristoval last night and talked to Coach Otho. They're going to lean on their running game, but Forsan is big, and they lean on their running game, too. This game might be over by 8:30. Sonora's playing Anthony. Anthony's traveling 400 miles east to play Sonora. They're crossing over to a new time zone. I think Sonora's going to take that one. Jim Ned's playing Breckenridge. That's a good game. Breckenridge lost. They were ranked. They lost a couple weeks ago. They were ranked. Erie County's playing Robert Lee. Menard's playing Very Best. Miles is playing Abilene TLCA. And Winters is playing Colorado City. So we got a bunch of good games tonight.
And of course, we won't have highlights from all those, but we will definitely have the scores from all of those, and you can check it out on sanjololive.com/scores. James, what do you think is going to be the best one of all of those games?
The ones I just named off? I think Jim Ned at Breckenridge would be a good one. You know, Breckenridge was ranked, and Jim Ned's always good. Matt Fanning runs a tight program over there. I think that's going to be a good one, too.
All right, perfect. Well, guys, tune in, like I said, at our 8 and 10 o'clock show, and we will get into all of those games, including highlights and stuff. Chadwick had to leave because they had to go catch a flight so they can make it to Midland. That's how dedicated we are to getting you those highlights.
Yeah, I had to drive to games. I didn't get to fly.
There you go. Well, like I said, this is the Cover One pregame show. Halftime shows at 8 and postgame shows at 10 o'clock. I want to thank you all our sponsors, Angelo Bolt, All-American Chevrolet, the Autoplex, Team and Investments, Davis Woodfin, and Double Dave's Pizza. I want to thank all of those guys definitely. For all of us here at San Angelo Live, we will see you guys at 10 o'clock, or